Chapter 15. You wanted to talk? Rio sat on her porch on the bench swing. It was uncomforting how familiar you were with her house layout. Just by thinking about it, you knew that the kitchen was diagonal from the front door, though still in the same room as the family room. The only hallway was on the right and a few inches from the door. It wasn't big, but it wasn't small either. Rio took out her ice cream pop and looked up from her phone. She unfurled her single leg that had been tucked in and stood. "Hey," she said, setting her phone back down on the bench swing. The throw pillows were still peach and light brown. "Hi." You rocked on your feet, feeling awkward, which made you mad. You have never felt awkward before, not even in your previous flights, but you guessed it was a little weirder now because of the distance. "Come on." She motioned to the bench behind her. "Let's sit." You took up a seat with a throw pillow between you two, but Rio moved it and turned toward you on crossed legs. "I know I've been distant lately, but it's because..." She fiddles with the pillow now in her lap. "Well, it's embarrassing. There's this guy I like, but he's completely..." "Hold up." You held up your hand, forcing her to stop mid-sentence. "Who is this guy, and why have I never heard of him until now?" Rio smiled and looked down. Was she blushing? Rio Nakamura was blushing. This had to be the most unexpected thing you'd had happen to you in your life so far. Rio, crushing on someone. Yeah, never in this universe. At least that's what you would have said, if it weren't for her telling you to your face right at this moment. You turned to Rio, your leg almost bouncing. You felt like no time had passed, and this should be good. You should feel happy that this was the reason Rio had been distancing herself, because she was embarrassed by her liking someone. It wasn't out of the ordinary. Everyone your age thought someone was cute or was dating someone. Well, you thought snidely, maybe everyone except for Asano. You snickered in your head at the thought of Gakushu Asano actually finding someone other than homework attractive. Maybe that turns him on. You had to cover up your giggles at that thought. Kinky. You began laughing again, Rio watching you with confusion on her face. You waved her off, but now that you think about it, if you thought about it long enough, it could be possible for Asano to have attraction to an actual person, but you didn't want to think like that. It made your head hurt. Then there was the feeling of hopelessness. What if the person Rio had a crush on was Akabane? Not that you would care much, or that you should, but you had your doubts, and if she did, well then, what would that do to your sort of friendship with Akabane? You couldn't help but worry, but then you felt guilty. You shouldn't keep Rio from liking or pursuing someone just because you had some mixed feelings. Anyway, this was Akabane you were talking about. There was nothing more than friendship offered between you two. There was that and nothing more. Although, no, you had to stop it. Every time you thought about it, your heart jumped out of your chest and you couldn't bring it down to earth. Your mind scattered. This would just end in heartbreak for both you and Rio. You needed to control your emotions. You would be a horrible friend otherwise. Hawaiian? You looked at Rio, raising an eyebrow, trying to act as if you hadn't just been prepping yourself to accept the fact that she, your beautiful, angelic best friend, had a crush on evil incarnate. You smiled brightly. Yes? The boy I like. You might know him, actually. She played with the hem of her long sleeve. Here it was. She was going to confess to you right here. Why did it hurt so much? Why did it feel as if something inside of you was breaking? There was one way you could end it, though. You could tell her. It had been eating you up inside since the day in the classroom, since he had approached you about that stupid important cup. You had seen a different side to him that day, but no! He was still evil incarnate. He couldn't be anything more than that. But what if he was? This was more complicated than calculus. Oh, have I met him then? You tried to play the teasing best friend instead of the crushed lover. She nodded, her blush intensifying. He was at the pool party. Oh gosh, your heart. Something was definitely wrong. Hey, why were your tears pricking your eyes? You needed to calm yourself down. Calm down. You kept shouting at yourself. It was late, and you were having a conversation with your best friend whom you haven't seen practically in ages. So why did it feel like you were being dragged through the mud? Like someone was purposefully ripping out your heart? Is it... You didn't have the heart to finish that sentence. You can't imagine you ever will. Rio nodded, a smile on her face. Yeah, Aitana, the boy with the bandana. The delinquent? Rio was startled by her outburst, but you were more startled by the realization. He's not a delinquent. You tutted, and a lightness you hadn't known before settled over you. Does this mean you don't like Akabane then? Even so, you had to make sure. Rio's blush quickly faded, and she stared at you like you were crazy. Of course not. Where would you have ever gotten that idea? You waved your hand in her face. Oh, no, where? I was just curious. Yeah, she scoffed. Never in a million years. Although, she looked at you suspiciously, and you gulped. You felt uneasy under her steady gaze, so you turned to look at the sky. Karma had mentioned you a little more, and they aren't necessarily bad. Well, I guess now that I think about it. She put a hand on her chin. They aren't bad comments at all. Strange. She fixed her gaze back on you, and you looked away. Akabane was talking about you? To Rio? You had to know what he'd said. But if you asked... You chanced to glance at Rio. Yep, she was staring you down. You looked away again and said, Well, I should get going. It's getting pretty late. Don't want to miss school tomorrow, do I? Yeah, sure. She narrowed her eyes. See you tomorrow? You gulped and nodded, standing up and walking down the porch steps. Good night. Good night.